I can hear your heart on the radio. It beats. They're playing Chasing Cars, and I thought of us. Back to the time you were lying next to me. I looked across and fell in love. And so I took your hand back through lamplit streets and knew everything led back to you. So can you see the stars over Amsterdam? Hear the song my heart is beating to. So open your eyes and see the way our horizons meet, and all of the lights will lead into the night with me. And I know these skies will bleed, but both of our hearts bleed. All of these stars will guide us on and I can see the stars from America. secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. You don't really care for music, do ya? Well, it goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew ya. Well, she tied you to her kitchen chair. She broke your throne and cut your hair, and from your lips she drew I've seen this room and I've walked the floor. Used to live alone before I knew ya. But I've seen your flag on the marble arch. Our love is not a victory march. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Maybe there's a God above, but all I've ever learned from love was how to shoot somebody who outdrew ya. It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold and broken hallelujah. 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 Hallelujah.
Hello everyone, my name is Chris Jonkhoff. I'm a funeral director here at the Reynolds-Jonkhoff Funeral Home. Thank you on behalf of Jean's family for coming today to celebrate her awesome life. At this time, if you have any cell phone or pager that could disrupt us, if you could just make sure that's on silent. And we have a lot of special things in store for you today. We will start with Linda. Thank you, Linda.
Thank you. So welcome everybody to our day to celebrate Jean's life. I'm going to read something that was written by Jennifer, and we modified it a little bit, but she did a wonderful job in creating her obituary, and we wanted to make sure that you heard it. And then we'll go through a series of speakings, and then we'll give you an opportunity to actually come up to the podium and say something about Jean's life as well. There will be songs, and there will also be, at the end, we will be playing some drums. Jean loved drums, and so we had a person that's going to come up and do some drumming at the very end of the service. So let me get started. The world has lost a bright spark, but the night sky has gained a star. Today we are here to celebrate the life of Jean Hughes. She was born on October 11th, 1962, and passed away on April 15th, 2019. Jean had spunk, and I think all of you probably know that, and an unforgettable twinkle in her eyes. She was many things to many people: a loving partner, a beautiful daughter, a best big sister ever, a perfect and fun aunt, and a doting doggy mom. She was also a teacher to all who knew her, certainly to her band students at Mayo Osabo High School, but also to her family, friends, and those who knew her from support groups and from social media, where Jean lent a lot of her strength while sharing, in such a positive way, her recent struggles. Jean dispensed her endless humor and grace in the face of challenges. Far from seeking sympathy, Jean freely shared her awe of the world and her appreciation of life's beauty. Jean was funny, brilliant, strong, inspiring, intrepid, compassionate, and genuinely kind and loving, with a wonderful hint of sarcasm when called for. She loved keeping us up to date with her thoughts on Facebook. A recent post that I read from her past said, "My mind is like my internet browser. 19 tabs open and 3 of them frozen, and I have no idea where the music came from." She would give us weather forecasts, traffic reports, police alerts, and very funny long diatribes about random thoughts that came to her in the middle of the night while she was watching the dogs and smoking outside and trying to go to sleep. Her curiosity and sense of adventure led her to creating treasured memories while working at Yellowstone National Park as the band director at Mayo Osabo High School and as a percussionist at the Central Michigan University. More recently, she shared her administrative talents and sharp problem-solving skills with co-workers and clients at Thompson Pharmacy and Munson Medical Center. She enjoyed the outdoors, animals, and nature in general. An amateur photographer, she loved taking pictures of the beauty in the world. I like this quote that seems very Jean, and so we added it actually in the cards out front. To find the universal elements enough, to find the air and the water exhilarating, to be refreshed by a morning walk or an evening saunter, to be thrilled by the stars at night, to be elated over a bird's nest or a wild flower in the spring. These are some of the rewards of a simple life. That is the life that Jean was trying to create when she moved to Arcadia recently. Jean's greatest loves were her partner for 15 years, Kathy, and 2 pups, Lulu or Dudu, depending on the day, and Maggie May. She enjoyed kayaking, hiking, and photography, with a particular passion for the northern lights and the night sky. Jean is survived by her mother, Ginny, her sister, Jill, and her husband, Roddy, her nephews, Raymond and Philip, and her niece, Ellen, as well as her partner, Kathy, and she was loved fiercely by Kathy's parents, sisters, brother-in-law, and nieces and nephews. She was predeceased by her father, Danny, who she's going to join in heaven, and her sister, Amy. We're going to share now. I'm going to ask Kathy to come up and share more of Jean's life with you.
First, I just wanted to say thank you for everybody that showed up for Jean today. I know this is raw for a lot of us. I know I feel it. I've sat for 6 days trying to figure out the right words to say to encapsulate what I felt for her and the love that we shared. And I feel like I may have fallen short, but I know that she knows how I felt. On a warm August evening in 2003, the stars aligned and I met a beautiful auburn-haired, freckle-faced girl. And it did not take long before I knew she was the one I wanted to share the rest of my life with. A quote on love from Khalil Gibran, who's one of my favorite prophets, says, "Think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love, and must needs have desires, let these be to your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love. And to bleed willingly and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To return home at eventide with gratitude. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. And then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips." A little bit about our life together. We spent our first vacation in the mountains in North Carolina, where I carried a ring in my pocket for days, waiting for the perfect time to give it to her. We vacationed in Big Sky, Montana and Yellowstone, where she was able to share some of her favorite places, which she had visited while working for the Park Service. Kayaking Pictured Rocks was one of our favorite trips as well. A few years ago, we traveled to Minnesota for an Aurora Hunter Summit, where we could connect with other people who enjoyed chasing the northern lights. Night sky photography was a passion that we both discovered together. We would jump in the car, camera gear in tow, in the late hours of the evening, hoping to catch a glimpse of the northern lights. I will forever cherish those moments. Her navigating, because I always got lost. Me driving, standing along the lake shore alone or with others, watching the lights dance across the sky. Standing under a star-filled sky has a way of grounding you and of putting things into perspective. So who was Jean? Jean was strong. The tree in the forest whose roots ran deep, bending from time to time but never breaking. She faced whatever life dealt her with courage, and she rarely complained. Jean was kind and compassionate. She was intuitive and had a way of knowing what you needed well before you did. She gave of herself freely, rarely asking for anything in return. Jean loved our dogs. When a song would come on TV, she would often change the words to include Lulu's nickname, Doo-Doo. Jean would start dancing with Lulu. Lulu would go running to her with her tail wagging, and they would dance until the end of the commercial. It brought me joy watching those moments. I'll cherish those. Jean was comforting. She had a gentle touch. Maggie May was terrified of storms, and as soon as the lightning and thunder would start, Jean would walk into the room, scoop Maggie into her arms, and hold her until the storm had passed. Whenever I needed a shoulder to lean on, she was there. She always knew the right thing to say. She was always in my corner. Jean was fiercely loyal and protective of those she loved. I never felt alone with her by my side, and I pray that she felt the same. Jean was a teacher and a mentor. She served as a source of knowledge and comfort to many people in several Facebook support groups. She was tireless in her research and was an inspiration to many who looked to her for guidance on how to navigate life with a chronically debilitating disease. It would be hard to count the number of people who have reached out to express their gratitude and sympathy over her passing. Jean made a difference. Jean loved the outdoors and nature in general. When we moved to our dream house in July, she would gaze out of the large picture windows and watch the deer as they moved to and fro in our yard. The sunsets are spectacular, and she would make certain she stopped what she was doing to appreciate their beauty. She taught me to do the same. She would also come in from her late-night potty breaks with Lulu and share recordings she had made of coyotes howling or owls hooting. She loved our new home, and I wish we had more time there together. Jean was a master storyteller with a special gift for engaging her friends on Facebook. She had a fantastic sense of humor. My favorite recurring Facebook post revolved around the scourge of the yearly June bug invasion. Jean was a fierce protector of Lulu, and she had a keen sense of self-preservation. She did not suffer bugs gladly. She enlisted the help of many a friend to aid in finding a solution to fend off the yearly attacks. A few tools she utilized were my racquetball racket, which supposedly would bounce a June bug 30 feet into the yard, a hat with a built-in mosquito net, an as seen on TV screen for the back door, shredded but still standing, several fly swatters, and then the electric bug zapping racket. She called that, what did she say, that was like her major arsenal. The latter of which giving rise to many a debate about ethical treatment of living beings, even those we abhor. She didn't put the batteries in. Jean once wrestled Lulu's pet friend, the toad, out of the jaws of a very large snake, not once, but twice. I know that we are all struggling in our own way to wrap our heads around what feels like such a sudden loss of this remarkable woman that we love so much. I know I ache to my very core for her. I feel raw, and I know that you feel raw, Jenny, Jill. I listen for her sounds in the evening hours as I lay trying to find the sleep that is for now eluding me. I know this is the price of loving, and I would do it all again. Again, I turned to Khalil Gibran for comfort, and he wrote of love. When love beckons to you, follow him, though his ways are hard and steep, and when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you, and when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it's better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. I want you to know that I share in your pain. Each of our journeys through grief will be personal, and it will take time. Right now, I'm choosing to sit in the center. It is my hope that you will be patient with yourself, and I will try to do the same. As Pooh said, rivers know this. There is no hurry. We shall get there someday. I can tell you that Jean would only want us to grieve her passing for a short time, and then she would want us to all move on. She would ask that we help one another, that we treat each other with kindness and compassion, that we stand strong and persevere in the times where we may feel hopeless. She would want us to take the time to be present in our daily lives. Listen to the wind rustling through the leaves, the loons as they call out. Smell the earth after a gentle, soothing rain, and to not be afraid to venture out of the dark into the dark, because there is so much beauty in the stillness of the night sky. 5,706 days, filled with love, laughter, tears, tenderness, joy, and adventure. This is the number of days that our lives were perfectly intertwined. It wasn't enough. There could never be enough. On April 15th, my beloved, our Jean was freed from her earthly bonds and is now gone to live amongst the stars. I will never forget how my heart soared the first time ever I saw her face.
Next, we're going to listen to a song that was Kathy and Jean's song by Roberta Flack. Next, we'll hear from Jill, Jean's sister.
Okay, I had this a minute ago. Jean was so many things to so many people. But standing here today, I realized that I'm the only one that can say she's my big sister. Except the minute I said that, I realized that, guess what, it's not really true, because there's a voice in my head saying, hello, excuse me. 11 years ago, almost 11 years ago, Jean and I experienced the death of our little sister, Amy. We faced that together because the three of us are a team. We're three. There's Jean and Jill and Amy. I can do this. And there will always be Jean and Jill and Amy. When there was just Jean and Jill, we knew that Amy was with us. We could feel her. And we knew that she wasn't physically present all the time, but that was okay, because we're still three. So saying goodbye to Jean today is so much easier, because I know that we're still three. For a very long time, the last 11 years, it was Jean and Jill, and Amy was there. But now it's Jean and Amy. And I am here, I am cared for, I am comforted, and I am protected by the two of them. We are still three. We will always be three. And I know this because of strange little things that I'm going to share with you. And I have no idea how to take it. I have no idea what it means, but I'm taking it that they're there. After Amy passed away, after her funeral, we went to a hotel, and there on the mantle in the lobby of the hotel, there were 3 lighthouses. Amy would call them frou-frous, because they're pretty little things with not really much purpose. So there's 3 little frou-frous, except that one frou-frou was the Jupiter light. We had just moved to very close to Jupiter, Florida, and the Jupiter light became quite a bit of our life. The other one was the Portsmouth Harbor light. The Portsmouth Lighthouse had been my husband's office for the last 3 years. So there's the Jupiter light where we were, and the Portsmouth light where we came from. And there was a third little frou-frou, and that was a lighthouse in Virginia. We weren't quite sure how it fit until 3 years later when my husband got orders to Virginia. I don't know if that was Amy or not. But the night after Jean died, we went to a hotel, and my husband and I were put into room 222. Well, that has significance, but this week we checked into another hotel. We're in room 222. Kathy, do you remember Jean's hospital room? She was in room 222. I'm pretty sure between the lighthouses and the hotel room numbers, my sisters are here with me. They haven't left me. I talk to them daily. I know they're up there. We used to tease about haunting each other, and I think the lighthouses and the hotel rooms, I think they're haunting me, letting me know that they're still here and they're not going anywhere. And I told Jean that I promised that I would talk to her every day, and I got one of those looks that I'm hoping not all of you have gotten, but probably most of you have gotten one of those looks from Jean, because I said, I'm going to keep talking to you, honey, and she looked a little worried, but she agreed with it. So I really didn't know what I was going to say today, and so I did what Jean would do. I Googled. Jean Googled everything. She always had the answer for me. I Googled and I found a quote by someone named Merritt Malloy. and I don't know who Merritt Malloy is, but I really like the quote, so I'm borrowing that person's words, and I hope that they mean something to you also. When I die, give what's left of me away to the children and old men that wait to die. If you need to cry, cry for your brother walking the street beside you. And when you need me, put your arms around anyone and give them what you need to give to me. I want to leave you something better than words or sounds. Look for me and the people that I've known or loved, and if you cannot give me away, at least let me live in your eyes and not on your mind. You can love me most by letting hands touch hands, by letting bodies touch bodies, and letting go of children that need to be free. Love doesn't die, people do. So when all that's left of me is love, give me away. When I read that, it put in mind my favorite quote, and it's a quote that I reread often because I need it. It's a quote that I first heard in 6th grade when the nun told me to replace the word love with the word I. I'm going to replace the word love with the word Jean. It comes from the 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4 through 8. And as again, I'm plagiarizing and changing the Bible verse, but I think they'll forgive me. Jean is patient, Jean is kind. She does not envy, she does not boast, she is not proud. She does not dishonor others. She is not self-seeking. She is not easily angered. Jean keeps no record of wrongs. Jean does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. She always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Jean never failed. Going back to the quote, love doesn't die, people do. And now that's all that's left of Jean is love, I ask all of us, give her away, share her love, share her joy. As I said, there were 3 sisters, Jean and Jill and Amy. But those sisters wouldn't be sisters without the parents that we were blessed to fall into their lives. I found this quote, and I thought I'd read it for my mother. This poem is by someone named Edgar Guest. It says, I will lend you, for a little time, a child of mine, he said, for you to love while she lives, and mourn for when she's dead. It may be 6 or 7 years, or 38, or 56, but will you, till I call him back, to call her back, take care of her for me? She'll bring her charms to gladden you, and should her stay be brief, you'll have her lovely memories as solace for your grief. I cannot promise that she will stay, since all from earth return, but there are lessons taught down there that I want this child to learn. I've looked the wide world over in search for teachers true, and from the throngs that crowd life's lanes, I've selected you. Now will you give her all your love, nor think your labor vain, nor hate me when I come to take her home again? I fancied that I heard them say, Dear Lord, thy will be done. For all the joys thy child shall bring, the risk of grief will run. We'll shelter her with tenderness, we'll love her while we may, and for the happiness we've known, forever grateful stay. But should the angels call for her much sooner than we've planned, we'll brave the bitter grief that comes, and we'll try to understand. Jean and Amy and I had the best parents, and the thing that makes it easier to let Jean go is that, well, she's with Dad too. So there's Mom and I, there's Jean and Amy and Dad, but we're still 5. They're still here with us, and they're waiting for us. And Jean and Amy are sitting on a porch in heaven in a rocking chair, and there's a chair waiting for me in between, and they better have their own iced tea because I am not going to share mine with them. They stole my tea all the time. A couple things that came up as people came in. that made me giggle about Jean. We look like polar opposites. We act like polar opposites. We're totally the same. Jean and I both loved snow. I loved mine salted, melted, and in the ocean. She loved hers frozen here in Michigan. We both felt that sensible shoes were the very best thing to ever have. We had different definitions of sensible shoes. Her nephew today told me that he wished he had an umbrella hat, because that's kind of our memory of Jean, is with her umbrella hat and her sensible shoes. I want people to remember my sister as the joy that she was, as the joy that she gave us, and know that she hasn't left us. She's still with us. And my final quote, and it's going to seem like a strange thing because it came from Barney the Big Purple Dinosaur. And maybe some of you might remember it. Barney the Big Purple Dinosaur had little friends that would come and sing songs. And there were 2 little girls that sang, and from that day forward, it was a long time ago, I knew it was our song. I know she's always there. I know she'll always care. 'Cause she's my sister. And I love my sister. And if I can't have her back, I know she's with her dad. Both of them. And they're waiting for us one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Next, we will have a song that Carolyn actually just recorded today. Please forgive the quality of it. We kind of did it in the car, so the quality's not so great. But if you could play the song now.
In the beginning, there was nothing, so empty in the space between, and you came in, turned the lights on, and created what has come to be. Before I pluck your wings, cover me, please, spread your wings, cover me, and promise this. If I die before I wake up, promise this. Be the last to kiss my lips on you.
Next, we'll hear from Kate.
My name is Kate Peters, and I am a friend of Jean and Kathy's. I met Jean in the spring of 2001. It took a minute, but we became really good friends. Jean was so many things: kind, generous, funny, smart, and quirky. She admitted when we met she didn't really care for me. I was like, really? Why? She didn't like that I was wearing Sperry topsiders without socks. I was like, yeah, okay. But you were wearing them too. She said, I know. Sometimes I just had to shake my head and move on. I didn't wear socks today. I no longer have those Sperry's, but I'm so grateful it's a nice day because there was no way I was going to wear socks today. Jean was a solid friend to me, showing up at my doorstep at some of the most difficult times in my life. Jean formed her opinion of others based only on her own experience of them. I know this firsthand. Life took us in different directions, but a couple years later, she informed me that she met the girl she was going to spend the rest of her life with. I was taken a bit aback. I didn't know Jean to speak of relationships in forever terms, so I knew that it was real. And it was, until Jean's last breath. I had the honor of witnessing her last breath, surrounded by the love of her life, Kathy. 4 loving, courageous, and phenomenal women. I am so grateful that you opened up that space to me and invited me into such a sacred and deeply personal moment. The Saturday before Jean died, we laughed, we cried, and still sought answers to our life's mysteries. We didn't get any closer to the answers, but I was reminded of the shared values that was the basis and foundation of our friendship. Back to that summer of 2001. I noticed the book, The Tao of Pooh, on her table in her apartment. I asked her about it, of course. I remember her eyes lit up, and she said, "Whoa, well, did you read Winnie the Pooh?" I went, oh man, I think I'm into something here. I sheepishly said that I had not, and I had to admit that. She looked at me with a look that said, how the heck are we friends, right? And then she let me know in no uncertain terms that I was not ready for the Tao of Pooh. At least until I read Winnie the Pooh, which the next day I found a copy of on my doorstep when I got home from work. I read it again this past weekend. I heard Jean and all the lines and all the syntax, the words. It was amazing. And she was right. I wasn't ready for that book. And I'm certainly not ready for this. So I'll end with one tiny excerpt. We'll be friends forever, won't we, Pooh? Asked Piglet. Even longer, answered Pooh.
So, as you all know, Jean loved music as well. We're going to play Adagio for strings in her honor. Next, we will hear from Nick.
Good afternoon. I'm Nick, and I am Jean's cousin, and I have a reading today by Arnold Crompton. Instructions. When I have moved beyond you in the adventure of life, gather in some pleasant place, and there remember me, with spoken words old and new. Let a tear if you will, but let a smile come quickly, for I have loved the laughter of life. Do not linger too long with your solemnities. Go eat and walk, and when you can, follow a woodland trail. Climb a high mountain. Walk along the wild seashore. Chew the thoughts of some book which challenges your soul. Use your hands on some bright day to make things of beauty or to lift someone's heavy load. Though you mention not my name, though no thought of me crosses your mind, I shall be with you. For these have been the reality of my life. And when you face some crisis with anguish, when you walk alone with courage, when you choose your path of right, I shall be very close to you. I have followed the valleys and I have climbed the heights of life.
Is there anybody who would like to say something about Jean's life? Share with us today? If you do, please come to the mic.
My name is Billy Joe, and I graduated with Kathy, and I wasn't ever lucky enough to know Jean like most of you have known Jean, other than social media. She had helped me through several years of pain and anguish before my diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. And I am going to miss those crazy midnight Facebook messages that I got because she couldn't sleep and thought of one more thing she thought I needed to know. This was to be our summer of sunsets in Arcadia. And we still may get to share those with Kathy. And we'll see Jean in the stars because I know she will watch over each and every one of us every night.
Anybody else? Everybody? Okay. Next, we'll have a reading from Paul. Is Paul in here? Oh, there we go. Thank you. You were in the cheap sheet. Thank you.
First, before I get to Jean's reading, I'd like to offer a prayer to Jean. O Heavenly Mother Mary, we thank you for welcoming Jean into God's glorious kingdom to be greeted by those whom she loved and missed. We will look to the northern night sky to see her shining brightly, joyfully, and lovingly upon us, bathing us in her warmth and laughter. We thank you for sharing her with us. Most of all, we thank you for the brave example that she left for all of us of a life well lived, full of love and compassion, and for the way that Jean maintained her spirit, dignity, and humor while enduring illness, injury, and pain. Please help us to be inspired by Jean's strength and courage when we feel that we're having a bad day. When life is not going as we would wish, let us remember Jean then. At those times, guide our eyes to the northern night sky, so we may remember that Jean is with us, Jean is encouraging us, Jean is there for us. Amen. And now a word from Jean, our sponsor. I always used to say that I wanted to live long enough to see how it all ends, our story here on earth. Long enough to see the waves crash, the fires roar, the sky fall. Yeah, I think it's going to be a tight race. But whether I have, I'm there or not. When that time comes, let us join hands and lift our voices with the pure, unadulterated joy our existence was meant to bring. And there will be Josh and Adele and the beat of the taiko long after the beat of my heart is gone. And I would just like to add my own note to her words that Jean will be there to see that.
Next, another song from Carolyn called You Say.
I keep fighting voices in my mind that say I'm not enough. Every single lie that tells me I will never measure up. Am I more than just the sum of every high and every low? Remind me once again just who I am, because I need to know. Oh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing, and you say I am strong when I think I am weak, and you say I am held when I am falling short, and when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours, and I believe what you say of me. I believe the only thing that matters now is everything you think of me. In you I find my worth, in you I find my identity. Ooh, oh, you say I am loved when I can't feel a thing, and you say I am strong when I think I am weak, and you say I am held when I am falling short, and when I don't belong. Oh, you say I am yours, and I believe. Oh, I believe what you say of me. I believe. Taking all I have and now I'm laying it at your feet. You have every failure, God. You have every victory.
come a long way since that karaoke. Thank you, Carolyn. All right, so next we are going to close with another quote. It's called She Is Gone. You can shed tears that she is gone, or you can smile because she has lived. You can close your eyes and pray that she will come back, or you can open your eyes and see all that she has left. Your heart can be empty because you can't see her, or you can be full of love that you shared. You can turn your back on tomorrow and live yesterday, or you can be happy for tomorrow because of yesterday. You can remember her and only that she is gone, or you can cherish her memory and live it on. You can cry and close your mind, be empty and turn back, or you can do what she would want, smile, open your eyes, and love and go on. Jean was one of the best among us. We are all better for having known her. In Jean's honor, please take a moment to gaze at the night sky tonight. Find a star, make a wish, and express gratefulness and awe of the wonderful world, as Jean often did. Let us celebrate Jean's life with a little drumming. We're going to do a little drumming music on the way out that she loved so much. It's going to be loud, just for me. Better way to send Jean on her way. So thank you for coming, and we will see you soon.